Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let me ask you something a little uncomfortable. Have you ever walked into a room, maybe a bar, a cafe, or even just your office, and felt completely invisible? You see her, she's radiant, magnetic, she's smiling at someone but not at you. You wonder, what does he have that I don't? And the truth is, it's not his jawline, his bank account, or even the smoothness of his words. It's something deeper. Something primal, something that speaks before a single word is ever said. It's body language, and not the cheesy, exaggerated kind you read about in men's magazines. I'm talking about a much more subtle, seductive current that runs underneath the surface. A kind of emotional fluency that whispers, I see you, I'm present. I don't need to chase her because I attract. Women respond to this, not to manipulation, not to games, but to presence, to energy, to the quiet confidence that says, I know who I am, and I'm not performing for anyone. In this video, we're not chasing women. We're not tricking them. We're simply aligning with the kind of presence that makes them want to come closer first. So stay with me, because what I'm going to show you isn't about acting. It's about becoming. Becoming a man whose energy speaks louder than his words ever could. Have you ever noticed how attraction begins long before a conversation even starts? It's not in the pickup lines or rehearsed charm. It begins in the stillness, in the pause, in how you enter a room, not just physically, but emotionally. Women notice that, they feel it, they feel you. Before you even say a word, your body tells a story. And here's the hard truth. Most men never realize what story they're telling. You see, it's not just about standing tall or making eye contact. That's the surface level. What I'm inviting you into is something deeper, something ancient, a language older than words. The body holds memory, posture speaks identity, and your energy tells a woman whether you are safe, interesting, grounded, or if you're uncertain, trying too hard, or quietly waiting for her validation. So let's start here with something subtle, something you may never have considered before. The first thing that makes a woman lean in, literally and emotionally, is stillness. Yes, stillness. Not frozen or robotic. I'm talking about calm, rooted energy. The kind of stillness that makes her feel like you're not rushing to prove yourself. When a man fidgets, constantly checks his phone, shifts weight side to side, or gestures frantically, what he's communicating is anxiety, nervousness, a scattered presence. But a man who is still, whose shoulders are relaxed, whose feet are firmly planted, whose movements are intentional, that man doesn't need to chase. He invites. Stillness is power. It tells her, I'm not in a hurry. I'm here. I don't need to be anywhere else. And women feel safe in that presence. They feel curious. They wonder, who is he? Why is he so unshaken by the world around him? Now, stillness alone doesn't spark attraction. It creates the space for it. And once that space is there, the next cue is all about how you hold your eyes. And no, I don't mean intense, unbroken eye contact that makes her feel like she's being hunted. That's not connection. That's pressure. I'm talking about something much more seductive, something that few men understand. Soft gaze, deep but gentle, curious, not calculating. When you look at a woman with genuine interest, not evaluation, you invite her to step into the moment with you. You let her feel seen without feeling judged. Think of it like this: most men scan. They look at her, then away. Or worse, they stare as if they're trying to impress her with dominance. But real connection begins when your eyes say, I see you, and I'm not trying to fix you or figure you out. Just presence. Just interest. You give her the room to be seen without putting her under a spotlight. And do you know what happens in that space? She relaxes. She opens. Because your eyes told her something powerful. I'm not here to take. I'm here to be with you. That, my friend, is incredibly attractive. But your eyes and stillness are only part of it. Let's go deeper into something almost every man underestimates. The space between you and her. The physical distance. You see, it's not just about how close you get, but how you manage proximity without invading. This is where most men make subtle but costly mistakes. They either lean in too much too soon, or they stay so distant that they communicate hesitation. But the key is in mastering lean back confidence. Here's what I mean. When you're in a conversation with a woman, instead of inching closer like you're chasing her attention, try leaning back just slightly. Not arrogantly, not like you're disinterested, but like you're secure, you're relaxed, you're giving her space to move toward you. When you lean back, your body says, I don't need to convince you of anything. You're free to be here or not. And that freedom, that's where real attraction lives. When a woman feels like she has the choice to approach you, she's more likely to want to. It's not about pulling away emotionally. It's about letting your body communicate something grounded, something inviting. And when she leans in, and she will, you don't need to rush. Let her come to you. Let her close that space. That moment of choice is what makes her feel drawn in, not chased down. Now let's talk about touch, not in the obvious sense, but in the way your body holds its own boundaries. What most people don't realize is that attraction isn't built just on what you give but on what you contain. A man who knows how to hold energetic containment, his posture, his movement, the way his body respects space is saying, I'm whole. I'm not leaking energy all over the place. I'm not trying to impress or beg for closeness. When you're constantly shifting, trying to get laughs, reaching to touch her arm too soon or invading her space, what she feels isn't interest, it's insecurity. She may not say it, she may even smile politely, but deep inside she's closing off. Because something feels off, something feels needy. But when you keep your energy centered, when you stand with gravity, your spine aligned, your chest open but not puffed up, your hands relaxed, you communicate something ancient and magnetic. I am my own home, and I welcome you in if you wish to step closer. Let's pause here and take this in, because this isn't about manipulation. This isn't about pretending. It's about alignment, about becoming aware of how your body tells the truth even when your mouth is silent. Most men try to impress with words, but the men who become unforgettable, the ones she remembers without knowing why, are the ones who carry a presence that touches her before a word is spoken. This is the foundation: stillness, the gaze, the space you hold. These are not tricks, they are signals. They are the soul's language translated through the body. And women who are attuned, emotionally intelligent women, sensual women, grounded women, they don't respond to noise. They respond to depth. And here's something I want you to really hold on to: your body is always speaking, even when you're not. The question is, what is it saying? Is it speaking of anxiety, hesitation, fear of rejection? Or is it speaking of depth, patience, curiosity, and presence? You don't need to be a model. You don't need to be rich. But you do need to become fluent in the language of your own energy. Because when you do, you'll notice something remarkable. Women will begin to approach you first. They'll smile. They'll ask you a question. They'll linger longer than they need to. Not because you said the right thing, but because your presence made them feel something they didn't even know they were looking for. And that, my friend, is the beginning of a completely different kind of attraction. Now let's go even deeper, because once you've cultivated stillness, mastered the art of the gaze, and learned to hold space rather than chase it, a woman will begin to notice something about you, something she feels before she consciously names it. She'll feel safe in your presence, safe to be seen, safe to be feminine, but she'll also feel something more, something intriguing, perhaps even slightly disarming, and that's your emotional posture. You see, your body doesn't just carry muscle and bone, it carries story. It holds memory. It reflects how you've handled love, rejection, power, shame. And all of that lives right there in your shoulders, your spine, your jaw. A man who walks around with collapsed shoulders, a tight jaw, a forward head is a man whose body has been telling the world he's tired. Maybe tired of rejection, tired of trying, or maybe simply forgotten how it feels to stand in his full height. But when your body opens, not in arrogance, not in overcompensation, but in honesty, it says, I'm not carrying the past like a weight anymore. You begin to reclaim dignity. You stop apologizing for taking up space. And women feel this shift even if they don't have the language for it. It shows up in small ways. She turns toward you a little more. Her laugh comes more easily. Her energy softens around you. Because in your posture, she doesn't see a boy waiting to be validated. She sees a man who has nothing to prove. There is something wildly attractive about a man whose body is honest, whose chest is open, not puffed up, not hollowed out, but simply present, whose breath is deep and slow, not caught in the shallow tension of fear. And yes, this takes practice. This isn't about flexing in the mirror. This is about re-embodying the part of you that may have been hiding for years. Now let's talk about something subtle, but absolutely magnetic. The micro smile. Most men smile either too much, nervously, or not at all. They think being serious makes them look powerful. But the truth is, women aren't drawn to the stoic robot, nor are they drawn to the overly enthusiastic jester. What pulls them in is the man who smiles with restraint, with mystery. The man who holds a smile like a secret he's not trying to sell. A micro smile isn't forced. It's the quiet curve at the edge of your mouth that suggests warmth without need. It communicates, I like you, but I'm not desperate for you to like me back. And that energy, playful yet detached, is seductive. Think of James Bond. He doesn't grin wildly. He barely smiles at all. But when he does, it's calculated. It's deliberate. It says, I'm enjoying this moment and I don't need anything more than what's already happening. That's incredibly attractive. Why? Because it feels real. A woman doesn't want a man who smiles like he's performing. She wants a man who smiles like he sees something special and he's savoring it quietly. So next time you speak to a woman, don't plaster on a grin. Just allow a hint of warmth to surface. Let it be authentic. Let it rise, not rush. She'll notice. And more importantly, she'll feel like she's the only one seeing that side of you. And that makes it personal. Let's add another dimension, the way you move through the world, not just when you're in a conversation, but when you're alone, when you think no one's watching, because the truth is, someone always is. Women are incredibly intuitive. They watch how you interact with strangers, how you stand in line, how you carry your coffee. And what they're scanning for isn't perfection. It's rhythm, flow, grace. And this is where deliberate movement becomes your ally. Quick, jerky motions communicate anxiety. Slush walking communicates disconnection. But a man who walks like he's not in a rush to escape himself, a man who moves with purpose but without tension, he creates a kind of cinematic gravity. Imagine a man walking into a room. He doesn't burst through the door. He doesn't shrink in the corner. He enters like he belongs, like he's aware of the space around him but not defined by it. His steps are measured, his shoulders relaxed. He breathes with rhythm, not panic. That man doesn't need to say, I'm confident. His movement says it for him. And women feel it before they even look. This is where a lot of men miss the mark. They think they need to announce themselves. But in truth, the quiet man with purposeful movement draws more eyes than the loudest one in the room. He lets curiosity do the work. Because he's not performing, he's inhabiting. And that is what women long for. Not someone who tries to impress them, but someone who reminds them of stability, of presence, of flow. Now we arrive at something you may not have expected to matter, but it does. Hand gestures, your hands, more than any other part of your body, communicate openness or defense. When your hands are hidden, stuffed in pockets, clenched in fists, folded across your chest, you're signaling, I'm protecting something, I'm unsure. But when your hands are visible, relaxed, expressive without flailing, you're saying, I trust the moment, I'm not hiding. Women read hands, they read them intuitively. A man who speaks with soft, open gestures, palms occasionally facing up, fingers loosely curled, movement synchronized with speech, invites trust. He appears balanced, expressive, alive. But here's where it becomes truly intimate. When you gesture with intention, you give your words texture. You show her you're not rehearsed, you're present. And presence is intoxicating. You don't need to choreograph your hands like a TED speaker. You simply need to let them reflect your energy. An energy that flows without fear is deeply attractive. Finally, let's talk about something deeply underestimated. How you orient your body when listening. Not speaking, listening. Because most men focus on what they'll say to impress her. But few realize that the way they listen says more than their best line ever could. When a woman speaks, your body tells her everything about your true intentions. Are you leaning in too quickly, eager to respond, waiting for your turn? Or are you present, patient still? The most magnetic men orient their bodies in a way that says, I'm with you, not ahead of you, not behind you. Right here, they angle their torso gently toward her. They soften their face. They nod occasionally, not to agree with everything, but to show understanding. And here's the secret: when your listening posture is aligned, when your body says, I see you, she will speak more, she will open. And when a woman opens around you emotionally, you don't have to chase her physically. She'll want to move closer, not because you asked her to, but because your attention made her feel cherished. And in that space, attraction becomes more than desire, it becomes trust. That trust, that container you create with your body, with your eyes, with your breath, is what turns casual moments into electric ones. And it's not about being perfect, it's about being present. You are not trying to become a performer, you are becoming a man who feels safe inside his own skin. And that man, he doesn't need to ask for attention, he simply receives it. Because his body language speaks the truth of something every woman longs for: emotional fluency, the ability to be there, fully, without fear, without facade. And now that you understand how your emotional posture, movement and presence create attraction that's not just physical but psychological, you begin to see a shift. You stop wondering what to say, and you start asking a better question: who am I being? There's a quiet shift that happens when you begin to embody these subtle cues. You walk into the world no longer seeking approval, but simply offering presence. You're no longer trying to impress every woman, you're responding to the ones who feel aligned. And because you're no longer projecting need, women begin to notice you in ways that feel different, almost mysterious. They don't know why they're drawn to you, but they are. And that's where we arrive at something often misunderstood, but incredibly powerful: mirroring energy, not mimicking behavior. You've probably heard of mirroring as a social trick, copying her gestures, her posture, her words. But that's not what creates attraction. That creates performance. And most women, especially those with emotional depth, can sense when you're doing that. What actually draws her in is when your energy mirrors hers, not her movements. What does that mean? It means when she is playful, you allow yourself to be light. When she is vulnerable, you don't override it with jokes or stoicism. You meet her there with calm empathy. When she slows down, you don't rush ahead. You allow yourself to harmonize, not out of strategy, but out of awareness. Out of attunement. This is rare. Most men either overpower the energy in the room or shrink inside of it. But a man who can match the energy fluidly, responsively, without losing his own center, creates a kind of dance. She feels like you're dancing with her without stepping on her feet. She doesn't feel managed. She feels met. And there's a deep romance in that, in being met. Now I want to bring us into a space that most dating advice never touches. And yet, It might be the most important thing of all, the still power of silence. You see, most men panic when a conversation goes quiet. They think the silence is rejection, that it means she's losing interest, that they have to fill the space with noise, words, jokes, stories, facts, achievements. But women don't fall in love with noise. They fall in love with meaning, and meaning often lives in the space between words. When you can be silent, comfortably, unhurriedly, you're telling her, I don't need to entertain you. I'm already enough. You're letting the moment breathe. You're giving her space to feel herself in your presence. And if she can feel herself in your presence, she'll start to associate you with parts of herself that she may not get to feel with other people. That's intimacy. That's chemistry. That's what makes her think about you long after the moment ends. So, when you sit across from her and there's a pause, don't rush to fill it. Let it stretch for a beat. Let your eyes stay soft. Let your breath stay steady. And then, when you do speak, your words will land with weight, with gravity, because they're not filling space, they're shaping it. This is the kind of masculinity that doesn't shout, it whispers, it listens. And because it listens, it creates emotional safety, a kind of erotic container where real desire can grow. But now we come to something even more primal, something that happens so fast, so instinctively, that most people don't even know it's happening. The direction of your chin. Yes, I said your chin. It sounds ridiculous, but stay with me. Because the way you hold your chin tells her something powerful about your internal state. When your chin is slightly lifted, not high, not arrogant, but just slightly above neutral, it communicates openness. Confidence, vision, it tells her you're looking outward. You're not collapsed, you're not guarded, you're available, present. But when your chin dips, especially while speaking or listening, it can signal insecurity. You may think you're being humble, but what she feels is that you're pulling away from the moment. You're guarding your throat, your heart. Subconsciously, this feels like retreat. So try this next time you're with a woman. Bring just a tiny bit more awareness to the level of your chin. Let your neck elongate. Let your shoulders soften. Let your face stay open. Don't strain. Just breathe into presence. The difference is subtle, but it's felt. She may not be able to tell you why, but something about your energy will shift, and she'll feel it in her body. Her guard may come down. Her tone may soften. She might lean in, because when your chin lifts just slightly, you're saying, I'm not afraid to be seen, and I see you too. And if there's one thread that runs through everything we've explored so far, it's this: being seen. Women don't fall for you because of tricks. They fall for you when your presence makes them feel seen, not evaluated, held, not hurried. Now, let's finish with one last piece, the one that holds everything together, the one that makes all these signals coherent, the rhythm of your breath, because breath is the music underneath your body language. A man who breathes quickly, shallowly from his chest, he's not in his body, he's in his head, he's waiting to be judged, he's afraid of saying the wrong thing. But a man who breathes from his belly, from his base, moves through life like he has time, like he's not in a rush, like he's not gasping for attention. And that rhythm becomes contagious. When your breath is steady, her breath slows too. Her body relaxes. Her nervous system syncs with yours. And without realizing it, she feels safer with you than she does with others. Why? Because you're not just talking to her, you're regulating the room. That's power. That's leadership. That's what women crave without knowing how to ask for it. So take a moment right now, just one, and breathe more deeply. Feel your body settle, your jaw unclench, your shoulders drop. Feel what it's like not to push, not to chase, just be. Because in this kind of presence, you no longer need to impress, you express. You no longer need to be chosen, you are choosing. And the irony is, when you stop chasing validation, you begin to attract curiosity. And curiosity is the root of desire. Women don't want perfect men, they want men who are rooted, who move with rhythm, who aren't afraid of silence, who hold their space without apology. And when you live like that, really live like that, women won't just notice you, they'll feel pulled towards you, drawn, not because of what you said, but because of who you are and how you carry who you are. So now you're no longer just thinking about what to do, you're embodying who you are. Your energy isn't scattered, it's sculpted. Your presence isn't passive, it's poetic. And what's happening is subtle but profound. You've shifted from asking, will she like me, to something far more magnetic. Does this moment feel honest? Am I still with myself while being with her? Because here's the truth that most men miss: women don't fall for performance. They fall for congruence. They fall for the man whose outside matches his inside, who doesn't need a stage to feel valuable, who brings his center with him wherever he goes. And that brings us to one of the most emotionally intelligent body language traits of all: the pause before you respond. This is where presence becomes visible. When she says something, especially something vulnerable, unexpected, or even provocative, do you rush in to fix it? Do you immediately try to make her laugh? Do you offer a quick solution, thinking that will impress her? Or do you pause? Not an awkward pause, a meaningful one, a breath, a stillness that says, I heard you, I'm thinking, I'm feeling with you, not over you. The pause before you respond is not silence. It's reverence. It shows maturity. It tells her that you don't need to fill space just to ease discomfort. That you're not here to win a moment. You're here to understand it. And when you do this, something shifts in her. Her nervous system relaxes. Her emotional walls soften. Because you're not rushing to change the moment. You're honoring it. This one habit changes everything. It's not just about being a better conversationalist. It's about becoming the kind of man she feels safe opening to. And the moment she feels emotionally safe, she starts to feel emotionally connected. And where there is connection, attraction grows wild. Let's linger here just for a second, because I want to say something no one told you. You are already enough. But presence is what reminds people of that. And now let's bring the energy into something even more powerful, walking away with dignity. You might not expect this to be part of attraction, but the truth is, women remember how you end a moment just as much as how you begin it. That moment when the conversation is over, the date ends, the night is winding down. That's where your body language tells the final chapter of the story. And here's the key: don't linger in uncertainty. Don't stall, waiting for permission to leave. Don't over-explain why you're going. Don't ask if she had a good time. Know that she did. Trust the energy you brought. When you walk away with quiet confidence, not arrogance, not aloofness, but with presence, you leave a trace. That trace is desire. She'll replay the way you smiled, the way your eyes lingered for half a second longer than necessary, the way you said her name like it mattered. And most of all, she'll remember that you didn't need anything more from her to feel good about yourself, that you left while still in your center, that you didn't wait to be validated before you felt worthy. That kind of exit is not about games, it's about grounding. And don't be surprised if she reaches out later, if she texts, if she hints at wanting to see you again. Not because you chased her, but because you made her feel something she doesn't often get to feel: the experience of being around a man who moves through the world with rhythm, reverence, and realness. Now, maybe you're wondering, can I really learn all of this? Can I really become this man? And my answer is no. You don't need to become this man. You already are him. He's just buried under layers of performance, of pain, of patterns that never served you. And what we're doing here, it's not adding tricks to your toolkit. It's removing everything that keeps you from being felt as you truly are. That's the beauty of body language. It's not something you do. It's something you reveal. It's not about controlling the moment. It's about surrendering to the honesty of it. And when you do, the women who are right for you, the ones who feel safe in presence, who are turned on by emotional depth, will find themselves drawn to you without knowing why. Because this is not about seduction. It's about sincerity. It's not about manipulation. It's about maturity. And the woman who's been waiting for that kind of man will feel it. She'll feel you. So before we close, I want to say this to you, not as a teacher, not as a coach, but as someone who deeply respects the courage it takes to step into presence. You are not broken. You don't need to chase. You don't need to perform. You are already magnetic when you stop abandoning yourself in the name of being liked. You don't need louder words. You need quieter truth. You don't need bigger moves. You need deeper breath. And when you return to yourself fully, your gaze, your posture, your energy, the rest will follow, including her. So here we are. After everything we've explored, stillness, the gaze, the dance of energy, the breath, the pauses, the endings, you're beginning to see that this wasn't just about women. This was always about you, about how you inhabit your own body, about how you carry your story without shame, about the way your presence speaks even when your lips don't. And isn't that what we all long for? To be seen for who we are, not for who we pretend to be. To walk through this world not begging for love, but breathing in it, generating it. And when you do, when you truly begin to trust that your presence is enough, you don't need to strategize your way into a woman's heart. You become the kind of man whose energy is an invitation. There's something deeply erotic about a man who isn't afraid of emotional depth. Not because he's sensitive in a way that crumbles, but because he's strong in a way that includes sensitivity. When you speak from that place, when you smile from that place, when your posture says, I'm at peace with who I am, you're no longer trying to attract women. You're attracting clarity, alignment, resonance, and that draws the right kind of woman. Not the one who needs to be impressed, but the one who wants to meet you in the space between words. The one who wants to feel, not be convinced. The one who notices the way your hand lingers an extra second. The way your eyes don't flinch when she opens up. The way you hold space without rushing to fill it. That woman sees what most don't. And when she sees you, she sees herself in your presence. So if there's one thing I want to leave you with, it's this: you are not too much. You are not too little. You are simply waiting to come back to your own frequency. And your body knows the way. Your breath knows the way. Your stillness knows the way. Forget the tricks. Forget the lines. Forget what you were told about needing to be louder, tougher, more aggressive, more entertaining. Instead, breathe deeper, walk slower, soften your eyes, align your spine, feel your weight in your feet, let your gestures flow with grace, not performance. Let your smile come slowly, let your gaze hold curiosity, let your presence be the gift, not the wrapper. And when you stand like that, when you move like that, when you live like that, she'll feel something, and she may not know what it is, but she'll want to be near it. She'll want to be near you. Not because of what you do, but because of how you be. You'll no longer worry about making the first move, because often she will. She'll find a reason to talk to you. She'll stand a little closer. She'll look twice. She'll drop a comment that begs for a response. Not because she's playing games, but because you've created a field of energy around you that is rare, safe, compelling. And you did that not by changing who you are, but by returning to who you are. So breathe again. Let that sink in. You are already enough. The world has told you to chase, to conquer, to prove. But the truth is, presence is not about conquest. It's about communion with yourself first, and then with others. And when you approach women from that place, not with tactics, but with integrity, not with tricks, but with truth, you will find not just attention, but connection, not just dates, but depth, not just romance, but real intimacy, the kind that doesn't burn out quickly, the kind that lingers, the kind that inspires loyalty, wonder, desire, devotion. And you didn't have to yell to get there. You whispered with your body, you slowed your breath, you became grounded, and you allowed her to come toward you, not because she had to, but because it felt safe, it felt right. And that is the energy that makes a woman want you first. So if this message has stirred something inside you, if you've recognized even a glimpse of yourself in this mirror, then speak to me. Tell me what landed, what challenged you, what awakened you. Drop it in the comments. And if you found something here, a truth, a shift, a breath of clarity, then give this video a like. It's not just a button, it's a signal. A pulse in this shared space that tells the algorithm and the world, yes, this matters. And if you want more of this, more truth, more presence, more grounded conversations about love, relationships, and the kind of masculinity that heals instead of harms, then subscribe. You are welcome here, because this isn't just a channel. It's a return to what's real, to what works, to what creates love that doesn't just flare up, but stays lit gently, beautifully. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, not just with your ears, but with your body, your heart, your attention. Now go, carry this energy into the next room you walk into. Let her feel it without you saying a word, because you are already speaking through your stillness, your gaze, your breath, your truth. And trust me, she hears you.